Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Lord, be with us this day as we deliberate the business of our county. Help us, Lord, to keep in mind the best interests of our county residents, Lord. Help us to be kind and good to each other. Help us, Lord, to just follow the teachings of your Son. Ask all these things in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Steve. Well, Jeremy, how do you like that? Tony gave up his prime first spot just to get you in here, so.
Well, Reds fans do that for each other.
Another one over there in the corner. Amen.
I don't know if he's done that for anybody else.
Done it for me. I have some supplemental information that was not available when I submitted the ARPA request. Basically, it's the quote from Innovative Concepts. The ARPA request that we're seeking is, you may recall, I spoke to you about the bulletproof door that we'd like to install at the prosecutor's office for purpose of the child support division. It's just something we have funds for in our budget. It's one of those things that, well, you see, this might be something that ARPA funds could be used for stuff that we would really like to do, just don't have the funds for, not just creating projects. And I think this fits. You'll see that of the $7,000+ that's quoted from Innovative Concepts, I'm asking for $3,000. I think we can cover the rest using deferral funds that we have in our office. I'm not familiar completely with how ARPA funds are processed with the county. It's my understanding I need to start here, and then we'll have to go back to the county council, provided you give me the green light to proceed.
Yep.
And so I'm asking that you do that. And I don't say this just to, I know your hands are tied on so many fronts as far as the courthouses that we have, and I know you're working toward that process. I think we are going to have to start spending some funds to piecemeal things along the way, because that's all we can do. And that's not a criticism of anybody. It's where we're at right now. It seems crazy to spend money on a building that we hope to replace, but realistically, that's probably going to be a few years down the road, and that's okay. I know everybody's doing the best we can. Sheriff Maywar, I think, may have reached out to you guys or was going to talk to you guys about this, because he's obviously in charge ultimately of our courthouse security. I'm just giving you a heads up. I may come back for an additional request as it pertains to security. The courthouses now have just that arm that will try to catch somebody with a gun as they walk by. It's not the best, but it only works well if it's fully armed or fully manned or woman there, and then another device that you put packages through. If we know that it's going to be a few more years down the road, I think it would be wise to look into that. That's just my opinion. The subpart of this request that you'll see is for screens that would be put up, one in my office, one in Chad Thurston's office, my chief deputy, two in the secretarial areas. Sometimes, I don't mean this to criticize anybody, but for example, if I go to the office on Friday and somebody forgets to tell the door system that it's a holiday, I've been there on that very day, and somebody comes walking in. I have no idea who it is, so I open the door.
Right.
Normally it's, oh, we thought maybe the courthouse was open or so forth. President's Day, things like that.
Right.
But sometimes if you're there late at night and you hear somebody walking around, you need to go downstairs to use the restroom, or if you're there early in the morning, it would be nice to be able to see on the screens who's in the building, if somebody's walking around and so forth. So, and I do think these screens hopefully will have a shelf life. When I talked to Chris Caston about it, they can be transferred to another building, which I like from the standpoint of they don't go bad, and we can use them in the new building. But we don't need them in the new building, because if we pursue what we talked about in the judicial complex committee, whatever you want to call it, we're staying. So this is something that we would continue to get use out of because we wouldn't be remodeling our office. So, I think if the ladies in the office would really appreciate it. We had an incident where someone was getting a little crazy, and just not to be able to see what's going on out in the hallway. I think I mean, to sound like 7,000 isn't a lot, but that's a low number when you consider the data and information we're getting as a preventative measure.
Did they do anything like that? Did Shelley do anything like that in the clerk's office? Or,
For screens,
yeah,
I don't know.
because I know Judge Conrad is considering that in his office.
Yes.
And he's wanting to do that too.
Yes. I was pleased by the price, frankly. I had no idea what this kind of stuff would cost, but before you vote on that, I want to give you a heads up as well while I'm here talking to you. I talked to Sheriff Mayor about this. I haven't talked to Jeff Sheets, but I've got information that came from the fire department previously. If you can envision the upstairs where the child support ladies operate, this door will help from the standpoint that they oftentimes have heated people there and it'll give them some security. On the flip side, whether we do this door or not, if there's ever a fire there, they're done. We've looked into getting something where you could put in front of a window that would require them to break the window and then flip it out and have an apparatus. You know, when Sheriff Mayor and I talked about it, we said, we'd like to think that we're two relatively fit men could be able to do that in a panic. But when you're panicked and there's smoke, who knows what you're going to be doing. So one of the things that we're looking at is to look at, and I will get with Rick Burkholder about this too, because it involves the building, is putting a doorway into the courtroom from there that could remain locked, but at least they'd have an escape route so they could get in there in the event of a fire and then have other options, because now there's different ways for them to go once they're there. Right now, they're trapped in there. They'd have to bust open a window, jump 2 floors, and that's just not ideal. So just giving you a preview of where we're going with this. Again, I recognize it would be an expense, but I also recognize that we're doing the best we can, and it's going to be probably a few years before the new building's done, and that's okay. I may even look at moving them here temporarily. As you know, we used a room that was set up here in the past, and it worked out great. So
As far as 125? Or?
I think that's the room. I just know that they said, hey, there's a room that can be used, and it worked awesome because there was no change and no hiccup in the production at all.
Yeah, good. We'll have to arrange that because now, you know, as a training room, and Shannon was just telling me we did get somebody as a training
That's okay.
person. So yeah, we'll work that out. But
I know that's beyond what I just thought you guys should have that on your horizon.
yeah. Well, and one of the things too we talked about in the safety committee is that, you know, as we've kind of been looking into the security issue of all of our buildings for, well, probably the last year or so, I suppose. And I kind of asked the sheriff to kind of take point on the security issues. And so I assume that he's kind of in agreement with what you're doing.
Sure, yeah,
So,
he recognizes it.
yeah,
And realistically, to do it right, it would take probably 2 more persons as employees of court security.
yeah,
Because we have 2 buildings, that's another disadvantage we have. In Wells County and other counties, 1 building can man it with 3 people rotating around, I suppose. But that's just what we're dealing with.
If I'm not mistaken, didn't the sheriff say that this system could also be, he could see what's going on from your cameras from their
Yeah.
facility as well?
Yeah.
So it integrates into the
Yeah,
county
I
security system.
Great question. As much as I don't have anything bad to say about Chris Caston, I like him. I didn't call Chris, I called IT, and
Yeah.
Bob Hicks said that's
Yeah.
who's been doing the program, so we just put him in. Yes, the last page you'll see from Lakeland Electronics on the new document I gave you, I think it's from Lakeland. Maybe I didn't attach it. There's a part that he has to buy from the company that has already installed the video system.
Right, to
So
integrate
to
that.
integrate it, but it's a long answer to yes. And the nice thing is, the sheriff could then access all of them, and in the event of emergency, so can IT. We could actually see what was going on if we needed to in Superior Court or in Sheriff's Department.
Yeah.
which is good. I don't need to now, but it would be nice that if an emergency, that could be available.
I know with us looking at potentially doing something different with all of the judicial facilities, you know, I get a little squeamish about spending money, but not on security and safety.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the place where we want to be
Right.
cutting corners.
We don't want to do remodeling. We don't want to put new flooring in and these kind of
Yeah.
things for sure. But if we can get by on security for now, that would be, and that's truly the best we can do. We ought to do it.
And I know we've got a long ways to go with getting our security up to where we'd like to have it. So I think
Right.
this appears to be a good intermediate step in that direction. And I would vote to support it.
Thank you.
Is this, just so I have it straight for the
Yeah.
minute, you've got the ARPA request for 35,842.39,
Mhm.
and then you also separately have the innovative,
Yeah.
but you said
I only need 3,000. I'm only asking for 3,000
on this, on the,
to cover. I just wanted them to see the quote and what it was.
okay,
That Innovative is, their quote, I believe, is 7,400 plus another $600 for that device that integrates it.
so you would need
I would like
3,000
3,000 to
for them
work
to
that.
cover that, but that's not part of the ARPA
Yeah.
request, or it is?
That is, the
And
ARPA
is that-
request is reflected that the entire door amount of 32,842 plus an additional 3,000.
It's like in the
Okay.
last paragraph.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure, it's just one request, and this is a part of that request, okay.
Correct.
You know, and kind of the thing for me is like you say, as we look ahead to a bigger solution, you know, in the meantime, we still got to deal with this. And it's kind of nice to coordinate what you're doing with the sheriff, with dispatch, with the Superior Court. I mean, that's just, you know, the logical way to make sure we move ahead in the meantime. So I'm certainly in support of it too. For sure.
I am too. Make a motion to approve. Second.
Okay.
Thank you.
Motion carries.
So Tony, do I need to have Jody then get me on the county council agenda?
Yeah,
That's my next step.
I will, actually, I'll message up to Bree and have her go ahead and put that on the council agenda.
Okay.
And then if they approve it, then
We can go forward.
if they approve it and it's paid out of ARPA, Jody won't be able to enter that into WOW.
Okay.
The only ones that can enter the
Sure.
ARPA money into
Are you-
WOW is our office.
Okay, that's perfectly fine.
So,
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Appreciate it. Thanks again for giving me your precious time slot.
well, now Ed's a little upset because I never give it to him.
You never know, he might call in a favor sometime.
Hey, stand up, I vote 3-0, you vote on that
Yeah.
else? Okay, good, thank you, I got it.
Yep. Thanks.
Okay, now we'll move on to approval of the minutes from November 14th of 2023. If you've had a chance to look at those, any questions, any?
I'll make a motion. We approve.
Second. All right, motion
Thank you
carried.
very much. Okay.
Tony,
All right. My voice doesn't give out. Clayton. Steve got the two people and the information, all right, if that's a resolution, run down there, cover that under attorney.
I could just do it, yeah.
Okay. Okay. The first item up for bids. We have Eastern Alliance Workers' Comp, and that is in the amount of $1,299.78, $1,299.78.
All right. Pass that along.
So move. Second.
Okay, motion carries to approve the workman's comp claim.
Next, we have Allied Weekly Health Insurance claims, and those are in the amount of $7,194.55. We had medical at $14,914.89, and then adjustments of $77,20.34, which brought the total to $71,94.55. I did sign off that they are our claimants.
Very good.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion carried to approve the claim. Next claim.
Okay. Next, I have the monthly weights and measures report submitted by Inspector Dan Heckman that I passed out to all of you prior to the meeting. Looks like there were 347 total inspections.
All right, unless you've got any questions on that, I take a motion to put that in the record.
I'll make a motion to put that in the record.
I'll second.
Okay. Well,
Now I have the Allied monthly insurance claim for $70,619.34, the administrative and so forth that we obviously do once a month. $70,619.34.
all right, unless you've got any questions, I'd take a motion to approve that plan.
So move.
Second. Presented.
And then I also had handed out to you all prior to the meeting, the utilities paid in Lao. And the amount of utilities that are paid in Lao is $29,481.85, $29,481.85. You all got that, right? Yeah. Steve, I feel your pain. I wish I could help you. Those trifocals are interesting.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay. Next, I have accounts payable claims. And they are in the amount of $455,611.54, $455,611.54. And those were emailed to you. I know we had a Parkview Health, $135,000, was pretty good size. Brad had a couple in Highway and Cume Bridge that were decent size amounts. So that's the amount, $455,611.54.
Any questions on the claims as they've been presented? If not,
I'll make a motion, we accept the claims.
I'll second that motion.
all right. Motion to approve claims as presented.
Okay. Well, we're getting there. Now we have payroll claims. And with the payroll claims comes three different things now since State Board left. But the actual payroll claims are in the amount of $365,163.68, $365,163.68.
Okay, any questions on payroll claims?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion carried to approve payroll claims as presented.
Okay. Next, we have the payroll time card approval. You all were sent the time cards for the department heads and so forth and so on that State Board wanted you all to look at and sign off on. So that's what that is. Payroll time card.
Okay, any
Make a
questions?
motion to- No, make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay. Motion carries to approve time card.
And then we have the payroll AP claims, which shows the amount of benefits and so forth that are associated with the wages. And the amount on that is $317,136.24, $317,136.24.
Okay, any questions on the AP claims?
Make a motion approved.
Second.
Okay, now we have some more elected official bonds coming. The first one that I have is this is for the assessor, Mary Beery. It's in the amount of $150. And looks like, Stan, looks like I actually signed this one. I just wanted you guys to approve it for the minutes.
Okay, I'd accept a motion to approve. the
So move.
Second.
Okay.
Okay, motion.
And finally, we have elected official bonds. Sheriff Dan Mayor, he needs two of them. And I think one is for commissary and one's for the other. The amounts on these, one is $100, one is $150. There are two of them. And Stan, you would sign under here where it says to sign once they approve it. And you've got, I think, two places to sign on two different ones.
Okay.
And then I'll take those, file it, well, I'll leave it here for Dan to take to the board's office and file. So once we get approval, sign those. And
Take both of them together.
yes.
So move.
I think you got 4 places to sign. It should say on there with the little blue tabs.
A second.
All right, motion carries to approve the bond payment for the sheriff.
And then I'll just get all that stuff down there later, Steve. Once you guys sign it. Well, Stan only needs to sign this, so I guess he can just hand it back to me. And Clayton is going to handle the Wabash River appointments that Steve worked on, and help get an alternate down there. So he'll bring that up later. I believe that is now all that I have. Okay, thank you.
All right. Anything else for Tony? All right, Brad?
Good morning.
Morning.
I have one permit today from Community Fiber Solutions. They would like to install underground fiber to provide high-speed internet, and they would like to go on County Road 300 South from Triple Z Road down to Troyer's. Troyer's Market there, 420. And I went and drove it and looked at it, and as long as they stay back by the poles, it'll be fine. Meters, perimeters.
Good deal.
Make motion approved.
Second.
I see that front page when you're done.
Yep. You sure can.
All right, motion carries to approve the permit as presented. Thank you, Brad.
And while I'm up, I'm also. Didn't tell. So with the rain overnight and today, I've got everybody's out for grading stone roads again. But once it freezes up, we won't be doing that stuff. I got some attention again today. Remember to get it. Okay. So we received our monthly draw for November. The MVH for November, $304,085.48. $304,085.48.
Still up for the year.
Yeah, overall, it's still up. And then on the backside, the local road and street for the month of November, our draw was $46,952.38. $46,952.38. So kind of to go along with that a little bit, there was another article in the Burn paper again about what NDOT's expecting, by not too many years from now with the funding, with all the electric vehicles they're pushing. They're still working on trying to figure it out, and they realize there's going to be a big shortfall there unless they figure something out, so. Just kind of
I'll
a
give it back to you.
little tidbit. I mean, it's been in the news here more often than not. They're trying to figure it out, but as of right now, it's not looking promising.
I bet they find a way.
I would sure think so. Oh, because they had talked about, like community crossings,
Yeah.
because that would impact that very much.
They're, those electric vehicles will eat up our roads just as quick as a gas vehicle.
Oh, yeah.
We just have to figure out how to tax them.
Yeah, exactly. I just want to give you guys a little heads up there that they're still talking about it, so.
Yep. Good.
Other than that, that's all I got today.
So with electric vehicles, not only are they taken away from us from the gasoline tax, but I mean, we're also funding those vehicles to the point of the rebates that are given to owners when they buy them and the rebates that are given to companies that are developing the infrastructure. And so, you know, they're not the great deal that they're made
Doesn't
out
appear to
of.
be that way.
All right, thank you for watching out for that for us.
Yeah.
Thanks, Brad. That's all I needed on it.
Rick, did you have anything for us?
A lot, really. There's a lot going on. So, the brand new UPS is hooked up. Stan, I think you had a little bit of a tour.
Yeah, because Bob took me down through both rooms and showed me the new UPS. And
The UPS that was in the server room, they moved that yesterday and hooked it up.
okay,
So they're both in there.
so they're about ready to move panels. The other
Yes,
panel.
Service Electric's kind of done right now until that generator comes in there to be able to move circuits around. But
Oh,
they're pretty much until that generator gets in.
Cool.
Last I know, it's still January.
okay.
Um,
Well, they've pushed that back on us, so.
yeah. Biggest thing's that transfer switch.
Oh, really? That's gonna be a holdup?
That's back farther, yeah. But
Hmm.
that's what's going on with all that.
So you got a restrooms working out here again?
Yeah, I had that, when they snaked it again.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I was gonna ask him, and I forgot how many feet we took that out. I mean, I think he had every bit of what he had to go back out there, so.
Yeah.
Hopefully that cures it. But we've done it before.
So does that go out to the alley and then out to the street, or where's our main?
That's what we anticipated,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean,
okay.
I would have thought he would have dropped it right off in there.
Yeah.
He would run it as much as he put out there.
Yeah.
Um,
Did he go with a camera too? I mean,
I cameraed it before,
okay,
so I didn't pay to have that done this time. And he said too, when you did it, I said, unless we hit a snag and we can't do it, I don't really want to camera again because we've already done it.
oh, right,
It was just,
Plug. Yeah.
paper products.
that's what it was. There's been a lot of different things,
Well, yeah, back to the power rooms, I mean, the server room and switch room looks very, very good, and they got the fire suppression moved out.
racks are in there.
Racks are in there, and yeah. Very good.
Yolanda's still off. You guys do. I think she goes back to Valor December 7th.
Okay.
So we'll see what's going on.
You guys doing okay?
Plugging away.
Okay.
I know it probably isn't getting done like if we were all here, but I think it's working.
Well, with all the buildings you're responsible for, and taking care of those with two people, and then your other duties on top of that,
They did, there was a few things possibly coming down the pike just to enlighten. Sheriff's here. They had active shooter training over at Superior Court. There's a few things that may have to be done over there. I was over there Friday, and a few little things, but we'll see what comes back.
Good. Good. Good.
That's it. So you guys got anything?
well, you've got a lot done in the last couple of years between the elevator and the new roof.
Yeah.
And the power rooms.
Big
and-
projects.
It really has been.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know when Jeremy was in here earlier, he wanted to talk to you about his office, because he put in for ARPA money for the new door over there, and also talking about fire egress and stuff like that.
I know they were wanting a door for child support.
Yeah, he's talking
Yeah.
about putting a door into the courtroom, I think, from child support or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I believe I believe that he got the quotes for that.
Okay.
My understanding is.
And then we had the Christmas tree lighting Saturday on the courthouse lawn. Did that go okay?
As far as I know,
I was there. I think it went really well.
yeah,
We're very well attended.
I think, Coach Shaw was calling me, he didn't know if he'd have enough. We had to push the GFI. But yeah, I did hear.
It all looked lit and I could hear him talking. So I guess that all sounds good.
So Steve was disappointed when he found out the toys were just for the kids.
I had my tickets and everything. He didn't call my number.
Oh, man.
I think he knew it was me.
No,
I'd have to go disguise the next time.
It's a good deal.
Well, very good. Getting ready for winter here.
Yeah, we're get salt bags.
Yeah.
You know, that was the other major project between updating our boilers and valves and updating the air conditioner,
Yeah, that chillers.
the
I
chillers.
was still, just haven't gotten to it, it's kind of been on the back, it's not on the back burner, but remember the front end of that, we'd like to get a new system. Gotta try to get you some quotes and get a new system as far as, so we're not held hostage to Hagel,
Oh, right.
Yeah.
you know, that,
Yeah.
Control system.
yeah, the controls.
Yeah, yeah.
Which we've kind of put Matt off, whatever he calls. but-
Well, just get on and off, trying to get
Yeah.
what's going on here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll get it.
Good.
All right. Well, thank you, Rick, for your work.
Thanks for shooting for us.
All right. Ed, did you have anything for us?
Real quick. Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Morning.
Just wanted to give you a report. The taxes, we're just about completely caught up. Kim is upstairs right now, putting in the last batch we have from the banks. So as of this afternoon, we'll be completely caught up except for anybody coming in with late payments. And so we hear some interesting stories about how the dog ate the tax bills and that kind of stuff. So I actually keep a little journal about all that stuff. I just find it humorous.
You can write a book one of these days about all
Yeah,
those,
things that-
all the ways my taxes
To
didn't
keep
get paid.
everybody anonymous. We had a great big chunk of money come in this last week. We'll have everything posted today. There's paperwork that needs to be done for reconciling. That should all be done tomorrow. So we'll have our end done completely by Thanksgiving. I don't think anything will move to the next week. I want to just thank everybody for getting their taxes paid promptly. Adams County is really, really good on that, and we're keeping those numbers going. The certificate sale, I gave all you gentlemen a copy of the 5 parcels that are going to be in the certificate sale. Mark Burry's checking on that number 5, and that is that bare land out by Monmouth Road that is a bit of an issue that we want to, he's going to try maybe to get a quick claim deed on it. Good. And that would simplify it. We'll see what happens there. The line of credit, Tony, I wanted to ask you, have you heard anything back from them?
Haven't heard anything from Colin.
They are not quite as picky on putting that in, and my bond as well. That's where I get my bond taken care of. And they just don't worry about it quite so much. But it's fine. Mine's in the works. And then the last thing I have, Monday, 6 days from now, State Treasurer Daniel Elliott will be in the office just for a social visit. He's going around the state. And if anybody would like to meet him, he's a pretty good guy.
Good.
So,
Glad he's gonna do that.
1:15 in the afternoon. So
Yeah.
don't be late because he won't be here long,
Okay.
which is good. That's all I have unless you have any questions.
I don't have any questions.
And just thanks to you and your team, I know you, relative to what you've done in the past, or your office done in the past, you guys worked through this whole tax collection year, at least a half a person short by your choice.
Yes.
You thought your team could get it done, and it looks like they've got it done. And then when I stopped in the other day, they were both hard at it.
So two out of the three of us anyway.
Well, you were all hard at it, but I know, you're always hard at it. But I just wanted to say thank you to you and your team. For the work that they do.
It just simply works
Yeah.
for us, yes.
But, you know, and that applies across the county. But when we go through the tax season, I think of you guys. So you and your team.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yep, thank you. All right, sheriff's not here. Mark, do you have something for us?
Clayton's gonna bring up.
You don't come just for the excitement, the entertainment, all that?
Because he has nothing better to do.
No, not at all.
On subdivision today. 500 west, 300 south. It's a single lot going to two. Road frontage on 300, road frontage on 500. There's already a house being started built here. And, they're just dividing it out, so they create another lot.
Good.
What's the last name there? I don't know that. Schwartz.
Motion approved.
Second.
All right, motion
How
carries.
big is that area? I can see the thing. How many lots?
Two lots,
Two lots.
9.45 and 7.42.
I'll add those together. Okay, okay. Simple math. That's 5 west and 3 south, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. I got that. That's good.
Yes.
People still building?
Check out that number.
They're still building.
Yeah.
5. More than the prior year. If you look down even farther, see if there were 76 permits that had at the same time last year. We are 14 permits of the total of last year. 2 months to go. Yeah, delivered 460 permits already. Last year was 446. So November and December report coming. It also reflects in the receipts, so we're almost at 100,000.
I wonder if building materials have come down a little bit.
Materials have, concrete not, but wood has. I don't know exactly where OSB's at, but last I heard it was the $14 range for a sheet of 7/16.
Probably. I bet windows, doors and siding hasn't come down that much either, I bet.
I think a little.
Have they really?
It really doesn't. Nothing never seems to come out of this is up in the state. Concrete's what's the most insane at this point. It's 140, $150 a yard.
The contractor price? But
Yeah. The lowest I've heard lately is maybe 130. It's somebody that does it all the time. Wow. Well, maybe 100.
yeah.
Wasn't even close. I don't want to know if they.
Wow.
Very good.
Make a motion to accept Mark's report.
Second.
Okay, very good. Just kind of as part of the discussion, I don't know if any one of you three want to kind of fill us in a little bit on your discussions you've had as far as updating the comprehensive plan. Any thoughts on that or progress that you'd like to?
Just beginning growing.
Yeah, we're just in the beginning stages. We had one meeting last week. We listened to a team from LaGrange County that had recently gone through an update of their comprehensive plan and their countywide vision plan. So we heard kind of how they did it and what the process was. We will be listening to a team from Wabash County that's going to talk to us about how they went through their process. So we're really in the early stages of trying to figure out how we want to attack this and what we want to end up with as a result. I know ultimately we'd like to have, or I would like to see, and I think the team would like to see, a new countywide comprehensive land use plan. I know Mark and his team would really appreciate having a new fresh document to work from. They use that a lot, and the Plan Commission and the BZA relies on that document, and our document is 30 years old now, coming up on 30 years old. So it'd be nice to have a new document there with an up-to-date and fresh vision for what we want Adams County to look like and what the current status is of Adams County. So we're beginning to work on that, but that's probably 18-month to a 2-year project. So we're just early on in working on that.
Well, and obviously, when I look at your report, and just for October, we had 9 permits with a total cost of over $1.3 million. Residential additions cost over $600,000. Remodels. There is obviously a huge demand for housing in Adams County. So as we struggle with the issues between ag land and residential land, well, and even commercial land, I mean, I think it's very, very valuable to take another look at that. So I appreciate you guys working on that.
One thing I'll say is that the best thing that will happen out of this, I hope, is that all the towns and cities that we have are in the discussion. So one thing that bothered me before I even took this job that I talked to said something to the mayor of Decatur about, Mr. Rickard. So they, still a shame. So most of their businesses, they have a business park that pretty much stops at the boat factory, Thunderbird. And after that was already established, housing units got put all the way around it. Now, what I believe happened is some of them are still in the county, but I believe those were county. So somebody came in here, said, hey, I want to put some housing in. And we just did it. There was no reason not to necessarily. But I hope out of this, things like that would be okay. And then I'd make a phone call. You know, it's not not their territory, but say, this thing is coming that's right next to your city.
To coordinate.
And then really what probably should happen is they go, ooh, no, we want to keep, industry to be able to grow out to the industrial area that we've established. They didn't, but could now.
Right.
So I'm hoping that is a big thing. Please don't take that like shade against Decatur. That is not it at all. There was not communication. So then we probably did in a subdivision that made housing. And then later it gets done and they're like reading the paper going, oh no,
Yeah.
I don't want that anymore. It'll be great if we're all semi-connected, trying to figure it out together so that we don't stifle, because that was the perfect spot to keep growing west. Now you can't.
And the good news is that the committee that we've got working includes the mayor of Decatur and the mayor of Bern, representative from the Geneva area, and folks that hopefully we will have more of a comprehensive perspective on how we want to manage growth, how we want to continue to manage retention of agriculture land, what the whole vision is for the county, and have that be an integrated vision and document so that city of Decatur doesn't have something sitting out here apart from the county, apart from the city of Bern. Hopefully we can integrate that all together and have one vision for how we want to see the county progress.
Well, and even though obviously the needs of the municipalities are different than the needs of the county, that doesn't mean that we can't coordinate work together.
That's correct. But it doesn't mean we have to conflict.
Conflict.
Yep.
So I think it'll be a good process. It'll be long. Right now, it's just figuring out how to do the process.
Yeah, we haven't even started on the process. We're starting to figure out what the next steps are.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, Shannon and Clayton, you can fight it out as far as who wants to go next.
My money on Shannon.
I'll go first. I'll go quick.
First, you guys all have in front of you an ARPA request from the Sheriff's Department. As it reads, and I've already spoken with the sheriff, the 911 system that they have installed at the Sheriff's Department is at end of life. So he's making an ARPA request basically to have a new system put in because it's at a state where it can't be fixed because it's at end of life. There's not even some of the parts, he said, aren't even available for it anymore if it would go down. So he has attached that quote from InDigital, and that's the request he's making is $68,251.42.
If I remember correctly, Stan or Clayton, correct me if I'm wrong, the source for this is a single source because that is the current provider of the equipment, and we're just looking to upgrade what's there
Correct,
versus,
yeah.
versus
It's just-
replace.
Yes,
So there wasn't bids and so on and so forth.
there wasn't a need for quotes because it's single source.
Single source.
Correct.
And I think that the sheriff spoke to us and council briefly about this last week, just kind of bring us up to speed that this was.
And he wanted me to bring it up to request approval because he's down in Indianapolis for a conference.
I'll make a motion, we approve his request for the ARP funds of $68,251.42.
I'll second that.
Okay, I'll vote in favor of that also. I noticed Julie Marie doesn't have it on her latest sheet, but so.
It used to push us more into the red on our
Right.
ARPA funding, but
Both of the
let
ones
council
you approved
figure
today
that
will
out.
Go to council next week, and I'm sure Jill and Marie will have resolutions prepared for those in case they approve them, so.
Didn't he take that to them last week or not?
He discussed it with them and said it would be
Okay.
coming, and it was, I think, Corey's recommendation that he try to get an ARPA request for it, which comes to you guys first. Now it will go to council.
Okay, got it. Very good.
My only other thing, I know you guys mentioned this, is the Wabash River Heritage Corridor Commission, just the resolution appointing the member and the alternate member. And I need to write in here before we approve it, who are we appointing?
Randy Lehman,
So Randy Lehman,
yes, is the president,
Those
and
names
the
are-
alternate would be Laura Schwartz.
So their name and information on that second page you have. The only thing I couldn't,
Okay.
Randy was phone.
I got his phone number if you need
The only
it.
thing if you
All right.
wanna,
I got it.
if you wanna put that in as you sign it.
Yep.
It's the only thing I didn't.
What do you want it in now?
So I guess I would take a motion to approve both of those at the same time.
correct, and then just sign the resolution and we'll get it sent back.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Good. And I'll vote in favor of that also.
Hard to find somebody more passionate about our environment than Randy.
Yes.
That is all I have.
What's the alternate's last name, Steve? What's?
Schwartz.
Schwartz, is it Laura?
Yes, Laura Schwartz. She works for the library.
How long is that term? Like 1 year, 2 year, 3 year?
I believe it's 1 year.
1 year?
I take it upstairs. Do you need me to scan it and send a copy over to your office as well, Clayton?
Yeah,
And
just, yeah,
I'll copy you and Brooke on it.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, and that resolution number on that, by the way, was 36, I believe.
Does it say on there, Steve, what the length of the term is? Sure. Is it just a 1 year?
1 year term beginning first day of January, ending
Yeah.
December. Oh, it says in 1 year term beginning January 24th, and ending December 2025. So that would be 2 years. So I think the date may be wrong on that. If it's a 1 year term.
It is here, and
Should be the
I'll
end
just
of
change it.
2024.
Yeah. Then that's not, they send us that. I didn't prepare that.
Huh. Wow. They should be more careful, shouldn't
What
they?
were they thinking?
But yes, it is a 1 year term. You guys appoint or reappoint about this time every year.
I wouldn't have caught that if I wouldn't have been trying to figure out what the term was.
Is there some way we can make it just like Tony's fault?
Well, it is 1 year because like
Cold stars. I've had this thing there for a month, over a month.
No, it should be the end of
Should be December.
Shit, I wouldn't want anybody to have it. I mean, it's
Are
not
we
been-
okay signing
It's not been
that one?
debilitating,
Yeah.
it is just.
I didn't mean to speak for the attorney, but
Yes, you are. You're fine.
I
Okay.
have not done.
I would just actually, yeah, you changed it. Yep.
I've coughed so much, I've got my throat.
Clayton, anything else for us?
No, nothing else from me.
Okay. Shannon, did you have anything for us?
then I'll get you guys a copy.
Is it the stop loss? Yeah, it's fine.
Sorry.
That's okay. I only have two things. One of them is I need approval to issue 5-year pay to one of our employees who has run out of all of their benefits, run out of all of their benefits, and they're on a leave of absence right now. It's in our policy. I just come to you guys every time I have.
So they want a 2-week?
Correct, it's
Okay.
80 hours. I don't think they'll use all of it. We'll see, but
Okay.
yeah, it'll be up to 80 hours.
Motion approved. If we approve this and they don't use it all, are they allowed to come back? Or is it over for 5 years?
No, they can use up to 80 hours. So
Okay.
we
I was
would-
just-
Yeah.
I was just curious if they used it,
They can come back to it if they need to, but we put it in timekeeping now, so I have a tracking mechanism, which is nice. So I can go backwards and see when it was paid. Assuming we stay with the same program for 5 years, then I'll be able to look at historical data too, which is good.
I'll second that.
Do the employees all have access to that benefit record also?
They have access to the record, but they obviously don't have access to request it, so it's not like
Sure.
PTO where they
Yeah.
can put in a request.
But I mean,
for
they
it.
can go back in
They
and
can
look
see
and
it.
say,
Yes.
okay, very good.
Yep.
All right, motion carries to approve that request.
Okay, and the only other thing I have is the application for stop loss insurance with Ardellis that I sent you guys yesterday. I sent it to Mark and Clayton as well. I looked over it too, and I'm okay with it. The first couple pages is really like the nitty gritty, if you will, so I just need Stan you to sign that for me as long as you guys are okay with it.
Okay.
Looks like it makes sense.
Clayton, did you look through it? You good?
I did.
Okay,
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
all right, motion carries.
You sent that yesterday, Shannon?
I did. Your signature and then your title. So here.
Darn, I'm about to go see Mike. Oh, there's Mike.
That stuff from the outside, sometimes mine gets caught in that Mimecast thing, but the inside stuff, I never do something like that.
Sound good, Tim?
Shannon, question for you.
Yes.
We had a surveyor was in here talking about the CDL program.
Yes.
Have we, is that finalized? Is that a done deal such that somebody can start using that yet, or do we still have work to do on that?
So we have a little bit of work to do on it. I got the policy itself written, and I sent it over to Mark and Clayton for review, and then we were going to talk about it today. And then I also had Brad and Mike look over it for me as well
Okay.
to get their thoughts and their opinions.
Okay.
But in my opinion, it's pretty generic. I don't think it's going to be super hard for you guys to approve it.
Okay.
It just outlines that they basically follow the federal motor carrier guidelines for CDL drivers. And then it kind of puts in place some official stuff of how we would handle things in the event that somebody was in an accident or whatever. So,
Okay.
yeah, give you another couple weeks yet.
Okay.
Mike had 2 copies, so we're gonna decide on which one we're doing, or,
So he probably had the policy itself, and then he also probably had the repayment agreement. So you guys have already approved the repayment agreement, and then the policy itself is the one that I still need to do a little bit of work on.
Okay, good.
Thanks.
Very good. Mike, did you have anything for us?
And yesterday, one email.
This is part of the stuff came in from the approved project.
Okay.
So I just wanted to let you know that we have an invoice already. We have 2 other ones that popped in quicker than was anticipated by everybody. The one that you're looking at is $174,000, and I can pay that through 11/38. Now, remember that the council didn't specify yet where they're going to pay for all this stuff at. At the last meeting, they wanted to wait a month so they could think about that. This came in like way early. And so I told Julie Marie, I says, because she was asking whether they needed to have an emergency meeting to figure out where they're going to pay the stuff from. And I says, I could pay this from 11/38 from 2 line items, 42,500 and 42,702. There's a software and a hardware component put in that we can make the payment there. There's enough to handle that particular invoice.
They've got a due date on there of 11/23/23.
Yeah, I
So-
told them if I could get the claim in, they would have it by the 6th.
Okay. So they're okay. I mean,
They're
it's
okay
not,
with that one. Was that.
Okay.
Mike and I discussed this yesterday, and we had emails going back and forth with Julie Marie and everything. There are several options that council would need to do to appropriate this money. One idea, if this is considered an emergency, they could decide, you guys could decide it's an emergency so that these servers can get replaced and all of that. And council could agree to pay the remaining 172 or 174 out of rainy day, but there would have to be an additional done because there's only 100,000 budgeted in the rainy day fund. There's more in there than that, but that's all that's budgeted. So that would require an additional. If they decide to do it through ARPA and pay all the thing like they were discussing and forego the interest or what, that would also be something they have to discuss and do. Really.
is there still any consideration on doing this as a lease?
That's another option that's still out there, that you could do it by the lease. But even with that, if they go with the lease, we're still short those other 2 at about 172 grand.
And I got those 2 here. They're 100.
We're still short that amount. If he covers this first one, we're still short on that. So I think any way we look at it, from State Board of Accounts and everything else, council has to decide, and we have to advertise an additional. And the latest that we can get that additional sent over for advertisement would be, we'd have to have it there by Wednesday, the 29th, I think it is, by noon, in order to get that advertised with the time period that you have to, in order to bring it up at the next council meeting. So somehow, and like I said, I've been emailing Julie Marie and Mark and Brooke. They've got to try to contact council and see if they can get enough people for a quorum. I would say by next Tuesday. But
Well, and obviously we've talked about this and this is what we want to move ahead with for sure. But I know one of the things that Mark cautioned us on was making this commitment, to purchase without council making a commitment to pay for it.
Yep.
So that's where I mean, I have no problem approving this, but I'm not sure where that falls as far as that line of thought.
Well, we can't really approve the two he has there because there's no money for it.
Right.
They're gonna have to decide how to pay that.
Yeah.
And at that same time, they could decide on the 174 that Mike does have in the budget. If they wanted to include all that in ARPA or something like that, because I think if they did that, you would save 100,000, 120,000 in interest somewhere around.
2,000, I think,
Yeah.
interest
Um,
for that.
So I don't know if the most efficient way would be for us to approve it pending council's funding. I mean, I hate to do it that way.
I mean, I think if
Are we, what are we talking about? Are we talking about the invoices here?
two down there,
Two down
mainly.
there.
There's no money
He's got money to pay.
to pay for
this.
that one, or to pay for those.
I
Without an
would
addition.
rather they just make a decision on the entire thing,
Yeah.
because remember, it was 720 some thousand.
Right.
Let's not keep piecemealing this together
Yeah.
as the invoices
And I think that
come
was
in. I
said,
think-
that was mentioned at the council meeting.
So they didn't want to
So-
make that decision at their.
Well, they
last
just
meeting.
need some time to figure out where they're gonna do it from, Stan.
Yeah.
But we ran out of
They-
time
it's
because
not
those
that they
came in
didn't
early.
Approve it, they said we approve it and everything, but, they had some options, they asked Mark at the time how much the interest was and some of the plans. Because I kind of presented it as you guys did before in 2016, before I was hired, you just did a lease and you paid it per year on that until we got it done. And, that was the option that I chose from, and I even budgeted for it in my budget. I have placed this in my budget year after year
Yeah.
because we were already beyond maintenance.
And they
on
approved
some
your
of that
budget for
stuff.
next year, right?
They approved it for next year. They've approved this for many years now because I've added it in case we had a disaster or something
Yeah.
and we need to go out and get something. Because our equipment at that time, you guys had a 3-year lease,
Yeah.
and you can never tell what the availability of things are and so on. We have too many people that actually, there is no COOP plan other than that data center to run.
Well-
You guys, I want to make sure that everybody understands that. If you look at the COOP plans from the departments, there is no COOP plan if that data center is not up and functioning. They don't operate. Quite frankly, they don't even know how to get in to see their data if that's not there because they don't have paper documents anymore.
But see, that's what I thought we asked council for that commitment to fund this so that we were not making a commitment that was not funded long
Well,
term.
they've approved this one over here
Yeah.
because Julie Marie asked me, because as soon as it came in early, I contacted her and Mark and all kinds of people.
And they've
said,
approved
"We
this out
have
of
this
11.
one in here and I can pay for it out of my budget.
Out of
And
1138.
that was fine.
Yeah.
But since that one came in, we've gotten out 2 other ones that have hit early, way earlier than what we thought was going to happen. And we have them on site, the equipment's on site.
So we can approve this one
Yeah, that's
because
what
council
I'm
approved
asking.
that. So let's, I would ask for a motion on this.
And then I guess the other part of it is, I'm hoping that when we discuss this, because I'm coming out open, I don't want to keep piecemealing this stuff together as the invoices
Sure.
roll. We got to go back to council and plead, well, what do we do about this now? I just want them to say, here's where we're going to pay for it, for the rest of it,
Well,
because it's,
sometimes council will kick the can down the road.
The only way that council would not have to meet very soon to decide on this is if somehow the company would allow it to be paid on December 20th, because they will have met and decided it by then. But I don't know that Mike has had
I'm
Good
pleading
luck
with them
with
again today. I'm pleading again today because it would make it easier for everybody at this point, because I've tried to tell them that to get a quorum, especially on Thanksgiving and
Yeah.
all this stuff, that might be difficult to make that all happen. So,
Yeah. And if they listen to your pleas and allow it to be paid on the December 20th claims, then council would meet, commissioners will be here. They decide if they want to pay the whole thing or whatever they do, boom, we're good. They get paid on the 20th.
Yeah.
But
We can still approve this one, though.
Correct.
yeah, because he's got that budgeted.
Yep.
I'll make the motion, we pay this.
Second.
Okay. Motion carries to approve the payment.
Does Tony need that?
Yeah.
and you got the line items there, tell me what's that. I'll send the claim down. I'll do the claim, but it's 42,500 out of 1138 and 42,702 out of 1138.
Did you vote to stand in your pocket?
Yeah, I'd vote in favor of that
That would
also.
be a big deal.
Need these back, Mike.
I do.
You can just, I'll just watch for the claim to come down for,
Yeah, I'll probably have it in.
I'm gonna enter claims this afternoon, 12/6 claims. I'm gonna enter. Obviously, I can't commit them yet because I haven't paid the 11/22 that they approved. I will commit those today and enter the 12/6. So I guess keep in touch with Julie Marie or Clayton on how it goes with that company. Because like you said, I don't know how much luck they're gonna have during the Thanksgiving holiday to get, I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
see what happens.
That's all I have.
Never know, they might invite you for turkey dinner.
Fine. So you just meet at somebody's house and have Thanksgiving dinner?
All right, thanks, Mike. All right.
Meeting dates, you want to talk about meeting dates? If you're at the bottom of your agenda.
Yeah, we can sure do that.
I know we haven't set our meeting dates for 2024 yet for commissioners. One of the things that, when I started kind of poking around at meeting dates, one of the things that surprised me, to be quite honest with you, was when I discovered that other than Allen County, we're the only county that I could find that meets every week. And so my question is, do we need to meet every week? And I think I've asked Tony this, and I think Tony thinks that from the auditor standpoint, we could get away with not meeting every week. But that's just a question I have in my head. And the reason I ask that is primarily because of all of the overhead that we get associated with every meeting. We have the auditor here, the treasurer here, the sheriff is here frequently. We've got Brad here, we've got Shannon here, and everybody takes time every week out of their schedule, hours, a half a day, to meet with us. And I'm just wondering if we need to ask that of our group here, or if we could get by with fewer than weekly meetings.
I'm just pulling up the schedules here.
What do you think, Steve?
I'm open for suggestions. I don't know if I want to go to every other week.
Well, one of the things I think you had mentioned was maybe dropping the meeting. We struggle with the meeting the same day that the council meets.
Right, that's the one I was thinking that we could probably drop if we wanted to drop one.
I know like this week or this month was a good example of, they ended up before 10 and our meeting starts till 11.
Yeah.
So we kind of had everybody's schedule disrupted for an hour as we were waiting for our meeting to start. It's kind of hard to schedule that meeting.
What do you think, Stan?
I'm probably kind of the outlier, I guess. I see it as us giving the opportunity to department heads to come in at their convenience. So I'm willing to meet as often as department heads would like us to meet. Since they're here during a business day, I don't know if it creates a lot of overhead. You know, just like if somebody doesn't have a report, they don't have to come in. you know, if Ed comes in and he spends a few minutes there, he's out. But, you know, it does give him the opportunity to come out at his convenience. So I guess I'm okay with the way it is, but, you know, I see it as us providing an opportunity for department heads to take care of business on a regular basis. So that's kind of my thought. I guess I'm okay with the way it is, but I mean, I'm certainly not opposed to suggestions or what.
I was surprised when I looked at other counties and like, wow, they only meet
Yeah.
every other week. I wonder how they get away with that. And then the more I thought about it, I mean, we have some meetings that are fairly short, that with business probably they could have waited.
Yeah. But, yeah, so I'm certainly open to discussion. I know, you know, one of the advantages that I always see with our board, I think we have very good communication with each other and with department heads. And I see that as a positive, and I'm glad for that. I'm glad for our communication with you two guys and with everybody else. So I look at one other county in particular that I know of that commissioner board doesn't communicate as well as we do. And sometimes that shows up in the form of a dysfunction on their part. And so I guess I appreciate the communication with you guys and with our departments. So but like I say, I'm certainly open to thoughts and suggestions, and we'll one way or another, we'll move ahead as a board and we'll function as we need to.
The time is kind of running short to get those meeting dates out there before.
You need us to make a
We've
decision.
been putting it off for a while. I don't know what the particular deadline is, but we have to advertise those meeting dates. And I think we have to put it on Gateway as well.
Okay. I guess I would make a motion that we at least try setting up our meetings such that we meet weekly, except for the second Tuesday when council meets, and that we would not meet on that week. I would make that as a motion.
You're saying try for
Try for a year.
a year. I think I'd second that.
Okay.
And if we find, Stan, that we're not meeting often enough, I guess we can always add a meeting. We can.
Yeah.
All you have to
If
do
we
is
find,
advertise.
if we find it blows the system
If
up,
it doesn't work after 3 months and we see it doesn't work, we can
Yeah.
always add it back, correct?
yeah.
I mean, you can probably revise that, or you could approve, advertise. You'd have to approve it 48 hours in advance. It would have to be advertised as a public.
Because you advertise them anyway.
But we advertise them anyway.
Yeah, so that
We
we
would just
don't,
have
we
to go
don't
back
avoid
to
that.
advertise.
You would only
Those
have to do the
extras.
one that you skipped on the meeting dates, but
So it'd be the second Tuesday of every month.
starting.
No, I'm sorry, it's not second, it's the third Tuesday, isn't it? Council meets third
Council meets
Tuesday.
second Tuesday.
Second Tuesday, okay, second Tuesday. Yep, second Tuesday.
Yeah, so I guess I'm not gonna vote in favor of that.
It'd be a 2-1, okay.
Yeah.
I'll probably be here anyway, because I like sitting in on council meetings. I like hearing what they're thinking. But at least we wouldn't be required to be here.
Yeah, so, well, we'll give it a shot, for sure.
Good.
I think they'll miss us, though.
Council.
So you bring that to us then in form of resolution next meeting?
Yeah, and we'll get that typed up, bring it as a resolution at next week's meeting.
Good.
All right, thank you. All right. Anything else from you, gentlemen? Just so you know, to kind of keep in the back of your mind, moving closer to the front is the Council on Aging is moving ahead with the 5311 transportation program. And they will be looking at, in December, a press release to talk about opportunities, times, prices, all that. So that's going to be coming out. But Michelle has been working very diligently to get more vehicles, more staff, and get prepared for that expanded service. So that's coming.
One of the things I was going to ask in Shannon, if you, any update on Golden Meadows, how things are going out there, where we're at?
Would you look at that?
Oh, here she is.
All right.
You have that plan, Shannon.
She snuck in here and I didn't even see her. Would you mind just coming up and giving us a quick update, Brenda?
Front center here. So we are down to, I believe it is 15. We have 2 that are, they had their assessments with the Beads Department, the Bureau of Developmental Services. They had that last week. That is approximately, they say, you know, we're expedited a little bit, but we should be looking at 30 to 60 days for them to get accepted on that waiver to look at group home placement. And we have other waiver process for assisted living. We have 2 folks that have started that process, one of which, well, both potentially I suspect will be declined for waiver services.
Okay.
Really the FSSA with the age and disabled waiver, it really is for those folks that have a physical disability limiting them from taking care of themselves. One of the 2 that are in process right now is, it is more behavioral. She doesn't have a physical disability component. The other is our lady that doesn't have full Medicaid. And in order for that Medicaid, it's a Medicaid waiver. You have to have full Medicaid, and she is 2 years in of a 5 years from her immigration. She's under an emergency
Right.
Medicaid, so she has to have that be here for 5 years before she's eligible for full Medicaid. However, the family is working with an attorney out of Fort Wayne that I guess deals with immigration and Medicaid and is trying to get her maybe
Yeah.
expedited ahead of that.
Well, hopefully they get something expedited with that, yeah.
Mhm.
So, because I know that was a challenge from the start.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, and she receives the RCAP or the Residential Care Assistance Program funding. So, I mean, that's ultimately going to be family's choice. If she cannot get waiver, she would be looking at an RCAP facility.
Mhm.
There's just, those are pretty limited. There is in Fort Wayne, there's one, I know that they took one of our other gentlemen, and I know they would be willing to take more, you know, if we get down to it and we don't have placement for them.
So does the hospital continue to work with you on placement?
I haven't really been using,
You've kind of been working on that on your own.
yeah.
Very good. Thank you.
Are you sensing at this point that we will find appropriate placement for the vast majority of the residents out there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and some of them, you know, they can, I mean, I think there'll just be a few of them that are going to be challenging.
Are you seeing, kind of hearing bits and pieces that with the change and looking towards relocating, it created some anxiety in some of the residents? Are you seeing that, or are we needing any additional services for those residents while they're there?
Right now, they seem to be okay. I know one gentleman, you know, he's seen, you know, people moving in, was kind of like,
Sure.
when am I going? You know, like, and I just explained to him, like, you know, I'm going to start with you at the beginning of the year. You're not going to go throughout the holidays. Like, we will get, you know, it's not going to be an issue. And I actually spoke with his brother, and he was very much agreeable to that. So not too much. And then one of the females was pretty anxious, but she's a group home referral, and that really tends to just be her personality. I mean, even just day-to-day stuff, you know,
Yeah.
causes some anxiety, but she, you know, understands, I think,
Well,
that
and I did-
now that at least they've done the assessment, so she sees that it is coming, and just really reassuring everyone that, you know, no one's gonna be left, like, we will find a good spot for each of you.
How are we doing staff-wise? Has anyone moved on, or are we good staffing-wise?
Yeah, good staffing wise. We had one that was gonna put in her notice, and now she's decided, she never put anything in writing. She verbally told us that she's part-time in the kitchen. Never put anything in writing, and then a week went by and she quit her other job, and so she's remaining with us, just a part-time status.
Okay.
Now, as the residents dwindle down, how will those remaining, like, say if we get down to 5 residents, how will that affect those 5?
You mean as far as staffing?
Yes.
Well, staffing would be significantly reduced. So it would really be more of the housekeeping component and more of the dietary component where we would be obviously looking at the staff downsizing.
Yes, Shannon.
And I will say too that Brenda has done a great job about utilizing employees who work 24 hours in other departments and other areas. And we have not backfilled quite a few positions out there. And she's made adjustments to what they do every day to have those positions filled. So we're not bringing on new staff, but the existing staff is just doing other stuff. So I think she's done a great job on making sure that people are staying busy and we're not needlessly bringing on people who don't need to be here.
Brenda, facility-wise, are there things that we need to be doing that, obviously, we have to keep a facility there that gets us to the end. What are we missing facility-wise?
Right now it's,
Did you say something about the heating system is struggling?
so it was, we actually got that repaired.
That's been repaired?
Yep,
Okay.
that has been repaired, and heat is up, and that's no longer an issue. Other than the pest problem,
Okay. And obviously, that's kind of been an ongoing problem, but you're continuing to work on that.
yes.
Okay, good deal. I think that's all we can do at this point.
Yeah, so, I mean, really, there's not anything major that, you know, I can think of, we're kind of limping on one leg with.
Sure.
The heat was kind of the major
That
thing.
concerned me, yeah. And
Yeah.
obviously, that's,
And I feel like, you know, we've done a pretty good job with, I'm not a space heater fan
no.
by any means, but, you know, we was able to get that taken care of. And so some of the units are still requiring quite a bit of like flushing,
Sure.
but Scott's taking care of those.
Good.
You know, I know one gentleman has required a couple flushing.
Sure.
And typically when they let Scott know, he'll get it taken care of.
Good
and
deal.
Get it rolling back up one.
Okay.
Good. Well, thanks for helping us work through
Yeah.
this.
It's a good report. Thank you.
All right.
I do have some questions. Not sure
How can we help?
those presented or how you want those discussed with some pay funds.
Okay. As far as how we're going to pay for things that you've got.
No, residents that are there that are non-payers.
Okay. Yeah, maybe we need to handle that offline.
That's fine. Yeah. So I can.
All right.
Okay.
All right. I think we're good.
I think we're good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else from the general public? The peanut gallery? Okay,
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
all right. Meeting adjourned.